This is lesson 7, adding and subtracting fractions and mixed numbers. Negative fractions can be written as -1 over 2, 1 over -2, -1 half. Typically, the form is negative in the middle over 2 when used when computing, okay? So the first thing that we're going to be doing is adding like fractions. Now, the two rules that I like to go by, and actually what you should go by, is one, use your fraction rules. And then 2, use your integer rules. So here we go. So the first one, we have common denominators, so we can keep that common denominator. Our rule for adding the same sign, add our numbers. Keep the sign of the larger, which is positive, so 6 plus 2 is 8, and it would be positive. So our second problem, our denominator is the same, so it stays the same, a 5. So our signs are the same, negative. So we have 2 plus 1 is 2 is 3. Our sign stays the same, which is negative. Our third one we have is the same sign, or the same denominator, which is 7. And I'm going to move this just a little bit because I want to start putting this negative sign in the middle. So we have 7. So our signs are opposite, so we subtract the two numbers. So 3 minus 1 is 2. And our sign is 3. 3 is the larger number. Its sign is negative, and so is our answer. Okay, next. Adding unlike fractions. Well, we make our denominators the same. When I do that, I will make them the same right through to our answer. Our like denominator here is 4, so I will make it 4 right across. Here, because our 4 is already a 4, I'm just going to bring the 1 down. Here, 2 times what is 4, which is 2. So whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the top. So because 2 times 2 is 4, 1 times 2 is 2. And then I add. Because my signs are the same, I add my two numbers. 2 plus 1 is 3. Keep the sign of the larger, which is positive, so is my answer. Here, my common denominator is 10, so I'm going to put that all the way across. My 9 has the 10 as a denominator, so I don't have to do anything with that. Here, 2 times 5 is 10, so I have to multiply the numerator by 5, so 1 times 5 is 5. So here, though, this is a negative, which has to come down. So my signs are opposite, so I'm going to subtract the two numbers. 9 minus 5 is 4. 9 is the larger number. Its sign is positive, so is my answer. But here I can simplify, which I have to do. So 4/10 simplifies to 2/5. And the last problem that we have, our common denominator is 12. So we have 12 plus the 12 equals the denominator of 12. So here, 3 times 4 is 12. So 1 times 4, and I bring down my negative. 4 times 3 is 12, so 1 times 3 is 3. My signs are opposite, subtract my two numbers, so it's 1. 4 is larger, so its sign is negative, so is my answer. So my answer is -1/12. Next, adding mixed numbers. Now, the way that we add mixed numbers, you can do it one of two ways. You can add the fractions and then add the numbers, but when we get into the integer part of it, it makes it very difficult. So in order for us to do this, here's what we are going to do. We're going to change it to an improper fraction first. That's what we are going to do. So here, remember to multiply denominator and whole number, add the numerator. So here we have 63 plus 4 is 67 over 9 plus 92 over 9 equals 159 over 9. Now we simplify. When we simplify, we have 9 goes into 15 once. We have 6 left over. 9 goes into 69 7 times. Oh, let me write this bigger because that's a whole number, not a fraction. Sorry. So we have 17 with 63 and subtract 9 from there. We have 6 left over 9. We need to subtract to simplify the 6/9 here. So we have 17 and 2/3. For this one, we have to find a common denominator first, or we have to write improper fractions first. So we have 48 and 5 is 53 over 6 and negative 53 over 6 plus 7 over 3. Finding the common denominator is 6, so we have negative 53 over 6 plus 14 over 6 equals. Our signs are opposite here, so we're going to subtract them. If you have trouble, here's what I'm going to suggest. Write it over here when you subtract it. So we have 39 over 6, and our larger number is 53, so our answer is negative, which equals negative 6 and 3/6, which equals negative 6 and 1/2. Okay. Next, we are going to subtract like fractions. By doing that, we are going to be, again, we are going to use our fraction rules. And then 2, do leave, change, change. Okay. So now we have leave, because these are the same denominators, change, change this to a negative 2 over 9. Our signs are opposite. We're going to subtract those two numbers, and we get 4 over 9. The next one, because they are the same, we're going to do leave, change. Oh, sorry, that's not a 9. Leave, change, change. Our signs are opposite. Keep our denominator. Subtract our two numbers. Keep the sign of the larger. Our last one here, we have leave, change, and change. Our signs are the same, so we add our two numbers, keep the sign of the larger. Okay, so next we have unlike fractions, and just like the others, we're just going to find our common denominators, use our leave, change, change, and then we're going to add. So here we have our common denominator is 4, so we have 4 minus 4. So we have our 1/4 and 2/4. So we're going to leave, change, change, and add. 2/4 plus -1/4, so we have 4. Signs are opposite, subtract the two numbers, keep the sign of the larger. Here we have leave. Well, here we need to find our common denominator first. Leave, change, change, and now we're going to add. We have same sign, so we're going to add our numbers. Keep the sign of the larger. So we have 1 4/10, which equals 1 2/5. Our last one, we have 12 minus 12. We have -4 and we have 3. So we have leave, change, change, which equals same sign. Add our numbers, keep the sign of the larger. Okay. Our last two problems. Again, I'm going to change them to improper fractions. So we have 92 over 9 minus 67 over 9, or leave, change, change. So we have 92 minus 67, which is 25, which is then 2 7/9. For this one, again, we'll change it. We have negative 53 over 6 minus 7 over 3. Change this. We have negative 53 over 6 minus 14 over 6, which equals negative 53 over 6 plus negative 14 over 6, which would equal 67 negative 67 over 6, which would equal negative 11 1/6. And that is our lesson for today.